And then, 16 shows later, from anywhere from, we've had Keith Faber and other candidates on, and we've had Camilla Wyatt with who's of the Money Burgess Act, the Mexican thing, and when you meet people like that and they have such compelling stories, I mean, you can't help but be moved by those. And even after 16 shows, we're still being moved by people's stories and their acts of, some of them are, I mean, what Camilla did was, she's historic. I mean, not historic, but she's a hero.
It's moving.
I mean, yeah,
very moving,
it's a movie. Exactly. You can make a movie out of what's, all the things that she's gone through.
Yeah.
And the same thing, and it makes you feel good when when you can introduce people like Dr. Jones and his wife Judy, and I love Judy. And Dr. Jones, very cool piece. He's going to be great out at Urbana University.
He's already established
he's already
himself
stamped
here.
on there, and he's I tell you what, he's a force to be reckoned with. And it feels good to be one of the first people to actually introduce him to the community,
right,
through the television show. So,
now to kind of get back with the Relay for Life episode.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, Ron Tompkins was a part of that episode.
Right. Ron Tompkins is also a friend of mine, and he was very kind enough to do that for us, and then he was very kind enough to do it again, and we're going to make sure that he's very kind to us in the future, because we're going to have him do that program all the time. Because, and I don't know what it is about Ron Tompkins. He just walks up to these people and they just tell him his story, and it comes out great.
Yeah.
And it just, he doesn't have to ask a lot of questions, and he just kind of sits back and lets them tell their story, and it works out really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, 16 episodes, and you have not been the only host
No.
of Urbana Leader.
No. You've been a host.
I have been a host.
You've been a host. And Ron Tompkins with the Relay for Life. He's doing our Relay for Life. And we'd like to find, I'm not the talent. Obviously, I'm not talent, but we'd like to find a permanent host for Urbana Leader until we can. Until we do, and we don't have to pay him. You're stuck with me.
Well, I think we finally got it, right?
Thanks.
Now, we were talking about Urbana University.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Judy and Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
Now, we were talking previously about the history of Urbana and Champaign County.
Right.
And both of them, on the last episode we had with them, were
Oh,
very
Ben
much
Franklin.
on his
Oh,
history.
Ben Franklin, what a great show that was.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And that got a lot of views online. We can't track how many people watch it on TV, but we get a lot of views online. And that was that's probably going to be one of our most popular shows. One or two, number one or number two for the year. The response was just, and that Christopher Lowe was great.
Yeah.
He was great. And and it was a pleasure to do that, because you learn stuff. We did a show with Julie McDaniel,
The librarian.
the librarian, and the history teacher Michael. I can't remember his last name. Michael Rhine, and that was a good show. And there's actually a connection there between Ben Franklin and Urbana University. They used to be, I forget what the whole story was, but back in the old days, they were like next door neighbors or nieces or nephews, and they got married, and the property that Urbana University, it's like the six degrees of Ben Franklin. 6 degrees of Ben Franklin,
Yeah.
and that's what the property that Urbana Leader sits on.
Urbana University.
Urbana University sits on is, in some ways, 6 degrees of Ben Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah, Urbana University's full of history. We have Johnny Appleseed.
Johnny Appleseed, which is, we still have to do a show about Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a niche for that, a little niche for that.
Urbana Leader is a community-based programming.
Right.
What do you need from the community Or what are you looking for through the community?
One, we need their support as far as their ideas and their comments. That's the number one thing. We always need that. Without that, you don't know where you want to go, and you let the community dictate the kind of programming that you do.
Right.
The other thing would be is sponsorships, because believe it or not, you know, I don't make any money on this show. We do it for nothing, and whatever expenses come out of my own pocket.
Sounds good.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.